right, welcome everyone to the 2019 Minnesota Poetry Out Loud State Finals. Woo! I am so excited for tonight. We had a full day yesterday, 2 rounds of semifinals in the morning and then again in the afternoon. We had 6 students from each final move on to come to tonight's final. And so here you'll have 12 amazing students who are going to perform poetry for you, and it's the best way to spend a Thursday night, I think. My name is Melissa Ray, and I work here at the Loft Literary Center. I manage Poetry Out Loud Minnesota as part of my job. I also do all of our outreach and partnerships. And yeah, that's about all you need to know about me, I think. So a little bit about Poetry Out Loud. Some of you were probably here in the audience yesterday, so it might be a little repetitious, but just for anyone who isn't, so Poetry Out Loud is a really fun and exciting national poetry recitation contest for high school students. It starts at the school level where they compete with their classrooms or other, the whole school sometimes. And then the winners, the top usually 2 people from those school competitions come here to state semifinals, which again took place yesterday. And then 12 of those students proceed on to tonight's finals. So that's how it kind of runs. And the whole competition is sponsored by the National Endowment for the Arts and the Poetry Foundation and state arts agencies. So here in Minnesota, we have the Minnesota State Arts Board, which is an amazing funder of the arts, supporter of our wonderful arts ecology here in Minnesota. We're one of the best states to be in for the arts. So let's just give a little round of appreciation for all of the funders out there. So I'll talk a little bit more about the prizes when we're in between poetry recitations, but just a note on some of the competition rules. So the students here tonight, they have chosen 3 poems, and the following guidelines are that one of the 3 poems has to be pre-20th century, one of the poems has to be 25 lines or shorter, and one poem can satisfy both of those criteria and can be their 3rd poem. And they all have to be chosen from the Poetry Out Loud anthology, which is curated by the Poetry Foundation, and it's a huge anthology, so there's a lot of really great content to choose from. So tonight, it's a little bit different from the semifinals, and that all students, all 12, will participate in the first 2 rounds of competition, reading their first poem and then their second poem, and we'll have a break in between. And then going into the 3rd round, the students with the top 6 scores, so 6 of the students, will move on to the 3rd and final round, reciting their 3rd poems. And then we'll announce the winners after that. We also have a really exciting special guest that I'll talk more about later, but we'll have some fun things in the breaks here. So, business aside, now I get to introduce our wonderful panel of judges. We have new performance judges from yesterday, just so that there's fresh eyes on your recitations. So I'm going to read their bios, introduce them. I'll have them give a little wave so you know who they are, and then we'll get going. And also first I should say, just while I read these bios so you can mentally prepare, we're going to have up first Ella Grimm, then Donia Abu Amo, and then Nicholas Leapings. So you're the first 3, just to be prepared, okay? And I'll say again on deck, up next, and then whoever's coming on stage. Cool. All right, so at the end here, we have Rhea Davison, who is our accuracy judge. Rhea is a poet, fiction, and nonfiction writer who recently moved from the great state of Minnesota to Florida, which we're very sad about. But she's happy to be back in the cities to be part of Poetry Out Loud again this year. She's taught here at the Loft since 2010 and specializes in teaching teens essay writing for the ACT and SAT. Her honors include a fellowship with the Callaloo Writers Workshop, the Robert C. Wright Award, participation in the Loft Mentor Series, and several writing residencies. She loves the ocean, sunshine, and listening to Southern accents, and although she'd like to say she misses the Minnesota winters, she'd be lying. You're going to have a snowstorm this weekend before you go, though, so we'll give you a dose of winter. So welcome, Rhea. Dante Collins is our performance judge and our featured reader, so that's our exciting special guest. Dante is a Black queer American poet named the inaugural Youth Poet Laureate of St. Paul, Minnesota. They are the recipient of the 2018 McKnight Arts Fellowship for Spoken Word and the winner of the Most Promising Young Poet Award from the Academy of American Poets. Pretty amazing stuff. They are also the author of the poetry collection Autopsy from Button Poetry 2017, which was a finalist for the Minnesota Book Award. Collins is the recipient of the Mitchell Prize in Poetry from Augsburg University, an alum of True Art Speaks, which is a nonprofit arts organization based here in the Twin Cities that cultivates literacy, leadership, and social justice through the study and application of spoken word and hip-hop culture. Side note, for those of you who took the workshop with Guante yesterday, Guante is also a part of True Art Speaks. They wield poetry to collapse normativity and deliver work that is both alluring and challenging. Often centered around intersections of class, race, adoption, sexuality, mental health, and social justice, Dante uses stillness, strength, story, and the marriage between archive and repertoire to reimagine how poetry can be accessible to those who believe the form is dead. Welcome, Dante. So next, we have Anne-Marie Ayers, who's another performance judge. So Anne-Marie works as a publishing assistant at Coffee House Press, which is an amazing local press, locally, I said local twice, whatever. It's been a long week, okay. And she's also a writer and editor for Paper Darts. She earned her bachelor's degree in English from Carleton College, where she discovered a love for poetry, Asian American literature, and buffalo chicken strips sauce on the side. Welcome, Anne-Marie. All right, so Jana Demkevich, did I do it right? Okay, we had a thing earlier today and I just messed it up. I will get it right later. But Jana is the marketing director at Milkweed Editions, which is another amazing nonprofit literary press here and is upstairs in Minneapolis. So before working in marketing, she was the publicist at Milkweed as well as co-founder and editorial director of a print and online magazine, The Riveter, which celebrated narratives and journalism by women and non-binary folks. She is currently co-editing an anthology of contemporary long-form journalism by women and has written for Literary Hub, Nylon, Guernica, and the Los Angeles Review. Welcome, Jana. And our final performance judge is Siobhan Williams-Shen, who is a Minneapolis native and educator. She was the first place winner for the 2018 Beecher's Magazine Poetry Contest, and as well as the first place winner of the 2017 Still I Rise grant for African American women. She was a 2017 Pushcart Prize nominee, a 2017 Best of the Net Award finalist, a winner of the 2016-17 Mentor Series in Poetry and Creative Prose through the Loft, and a 2016 Fellow through the Gibbons Foundation for African American Literature. Her work has appeared or is forthcoming in the Indianapolis Review, Cosmonaut Avenue, Permafrost Magazine, Nat Brute, and other publications. A Carleton College graduate, Siobhan is currently pursuing her MFA in creative writing at Hamline University. Welcome, Siobhan. And at the end here is our wonderful scorekeeper. So once our judges pass on all their judging forms, Rachel enters it into a magical spreadsheet that does math for us because we're all English majors, right? So, but Rachel Young is our scorekeeper who manages digital outreach and PR for the Loft, helping to craft the organization's voice and presence in the Twin Cities. She holds a BA in English Literature from Swarthmore College and worked in nonprofit education with the Breakthrough Collaborative before joining the Loft staff in 2017. Rachel is passionate about amplifying and empowering unheard voices in narrative arts. She loves smart, self-possessed stories that illuminate simultaneously intimate and universal truths. And when she's not in the office, you can find her with a microphone in hand, producing audio stories that do just that. Welcome, Rachel. All right, so we'll get started here. So again, we're going to do round one, short break. Dante will perform for us. We'll have round two, short break, and then we'll announce the top 6 winners who go on to the third round, and we'll have another performance from Dante, and then we'll announce the winners of the state championships and have cake. It'll be great. So, ready? Y'all ready? I encourage you, if you want to sit over here, students, you can, just to get easier access to get on stage. If you have other seats in the audience, that's cool too. But these are reserved for you. So, on deck, we have Nicholas Leapings. Up next, we have Donia Abu Amo. But right now, we have Ella Grimm from the Marshall School in Duluth. Ella Grimm is a high school sophomore. She is very excited to share her love of poetry during Poetry Out Loud. She enjoys writing, good books, pine cones, and kayaking on large lakes. Let's welcome Ella.
Refusing Silence by Tess Gallagher. Heartbeat trembling. Your kingdom of leaves, near the ceremony of water, I never insisted on you. I admit, I delayed. I was the empress of delay. But it can't be put off now. On the sacred branch of my only voice, I insist. Insist for us all, which is the job of the voice, and especially of the poet. Else, what am I for? What use am I if I don't insist? There are messages to send, gatherings and songs, because we need to insist. Else, what are we for? What use are we?
Thank you, Ella, for bravely being our first person up here. All right, our judges are furiously judging, and I will let them do that. All right, so on deck we have Isabella Callerly. Up next, Nicholas Leapings. But right now, we have Donia Abu Amo from Columbia Heights High School. Donia is a Palestinian-American who has experienced things most 17-year-olds will never come face-to-face with. Writing is an outlet for her to express her feelings towards situations she's been through, such as being a few inches away from an Israeli bullet. Donia likes writing short stories, poems, and about her life experiences. By doing so, she hopes to become a journalist and possibly publish a few of her own poems. Let's welcome Donia.
I Find No Peace by Sir Thomas Wyatt. I find no peace, and all my war is done. I burn and freeze. I fly above the wind, yet can I not arise. And not I have, and all the world I season, that loseth nor locketh, holdeth me in prison, and holdeth me not, yet can I escape no wise, nor letteth me live, nor die at my device. And yet of death it giveth me occasion. Without eye and I see, and without tongue I plain. I desire to perish, and yet I ask health. I love another, and thus I hate myself. I feed me in sorrow and laugh in all my pain. Likewise displeaseth me both life and death, and my delight is causer of this strife.
So why do we think we do poetry out loud? This is something that I've had a lot of people ask me as program manager here, and I think Poetry Out Loud is such a unique program because it allows students to read and in-depth discuss and study contemporary and classic poetry of the English language, which is important in of itself. But they also really deepen their understanding of complex ideas, and they practice self-expression here on stage. And also getting up on stage is such a thing of self-confidence and building those public speaking skills, and I just think it's such a beautiful way to really embody the thing that we love, which is poetry. So I'm just really proud of you all for being here and for doing that work. All right, so back to the lineup. On deck we have Asha Omar. Up next, Isabella Callerly. And right now we have Nicholas Leapings from St. Paul Academy and Summit School in St. Paul. Nicholas is a sophomore, a life scout, and enjoys many things, including baking, performing, and saving the bees through his nonprofit organization called Be Kind Minnesota. This is his first year doing Poetry Out Loud. He wanted to participate because of his love for performing and connecting with people. Let's welcome Nicholas.
Undivided Attention by Taylor Molly. A grand piano wrapped in quilted pads by movers. tied up with canvas straps, like classical music's birthday gift to the criminally insane, is gently nudged without its legs out an 8th floor window on 62nd Street. It dangles in April air from the neck of the mover's crane. Chopin shiny black lacquer squares and dirty white crisscross patterns, hanging, like the second to last note of a concerto played on the edge of the seat, the edge of tears, the edge of 8 stories up going over. It's a piano being pushed out of a window and lowered down onto a flatbed truck, and I'm trying to teach math in the building across the street. Who can teach when there are such lessons to be learned? All the greatest common factors are delivered by long-necked cranes and flatbed trucks, or come through everything, even air, like snow. See, snow falls for the first time every year, and every year my students rush to the window as if snow were more interesting than math, which of course it is. So please, let me teach like a Steinway spinning slowly in April air, so almost falling, so hinderingly dangling from the neck of the mover's crane, so on the edge of losing everything. Let me teach like the first snow falling.
Thanks. So I'm going to talk a little bit about all the prizes. There's a lot of them, so it might take a few rounds here. But so all of the participants yesterday in the semifinals got these amazing packets of 3 poetry books each, and they were donated by our generous local publishers, including Coffee House Press, Milkweed Editions, and Grey Wolf Press. So let's just give a little shout out to those publishers. Thank you. And then tonight, all 12 participants are going to receive donated backstage tour vouchers from the Guthrie Theater, so just across the street over here. And they also get them in a really cute little Loft tote bag. So, whoop, whoop. So some good prizes coming your way. All right, let's make sure I have my right things here. So on deck, we have Anika Cheever. Up next, Asha Omar. And right now, we have Isabella Callery, which I was mispronouncing her name yesterday. And it's also misprinted. There's an extra L in the program. I apologize, Isabella. But Isabella is from Arcadia Charter School in Northfield. She is a senior who runs her own Native American beading shop. She loves biology and slam poetry. Let's welcome Isabella.
Perhaps the World Ends Here by Joy Harjo. The world begins at a kitchen table. No matter what, we must eat to live. The gifts of earth are brought and prepared, set on the table. So it has been since creation, and it will go on. We chase chickens or dogs away from it. Babies teethe at the corners. They scrape their knees under it. It is here that children are given instructions on what it means to be human. We make men at it. We make women. At this table we gossip, recall enemies and the ghosts of lovers. Our dreams drink coffee with us. As they put their arms around our children, they laugh with us at our poor falling down selves, and as we put ourselves back together once again at the table. This table has been a house in the rain, an umbrella in the sun. Wars have begun and ended at this table. It is a place to hide in the shadow of terror, a place to celebrate the terrible victory. We have given birth on this table and have prepared our parents for burial here. At this table we sing with joy, with sorrow. We pray of suffering and remorse. We give thanks. Perhaps the world will end at the kitchen table, while we are laughing and crying, eating of the last sweet bite.
Thank you, Isabella. So I just told you about the prizes that are happening. Oh God, did I just lose my train of thought? Where am I? Nope, I found it. We're good. All right. So participant prizes were all day yesterday and some tonight. We also have state champion prizes. So tonight we have some pretty little trophies over here. So the third place winner will get a trophy. The second place winner will get a trophy plus $100 for the student and $200 for their school for poetry books. And then the state champion will receive a trophy, $200 for the student, and all expense paid trip to DC for nationals, which is April 30th and May 1st. They'll also receive a $100 gift card to the Loft. And their school will receive $500 for poetry books, and their teacher will receive a $100 gift card to the Loft. So just some more great prizes. All right. So on deck, we have Grace Ulferts. Up next, Anika Cheever. But right now, we have Asha Omar from UBA Medical Academy in Hopkins. Asha is a sophomore. She hopes to pursue a job in the medical field one day and build a hospital in her homeland of Somalia. Let's welcome Asha.
To Have Without Holding by Marge Piercy. Learning to love differently is hard. Love with the hands wide open. Love with the doors banging on their hinges. The cupboard unlocked. The wind roaring and whimpering in the rooms. Rustling the sheets and snapping the blinds that thwack like rubber bands in an open palm. It hurts to love wide open, stretching the muscles that feel as if they are made of wet plaster, then of blunt knives, then of sharp knives. It hurts to thwart the reflexes of grab, of clutch, to love and let go again and again. It pesters to remember the lover who is not in the bed, to hold back what is owed to the work that gutters like a candle in a cave without air, to love consciously, conscientiously, concretely, constructively. I can't do it. You say it's killing me, but you thrive. You glow on the streets like a neon raspberry. You float and sail a helium balloon, bright bachelor's button blue, and bobbing on the cold and hot winds of our breath as we make and unmake in passionate diastole and systole the rhythm of our unbound bonding. To have and not to hold. To love with minimized malice, hunger, and anger, moment by moment, balanced.
Thank you, Asha. All right, so the last prize update. So at the Nationals, which again are April 30th and May 1st in Washington, D.C., the winner of the national championship will receive $20,000 to put towards college tuition. A total of $50,000 in scholarships and school stipends will be awarded to the winners at the national level. So exciting. And again, so much support and funding for the arts, which is a really great thing to have and something we should not take for granted. All right, so on deck we have Alina Vang. Up next, Grace Ulferts. But right now we have Anika Cheever from Arcadia Charter School in Northfield. Anna is enjoying her senior year by taking classes at Inver Hills Community College as a PSEO student. In her free time, she enjoys being with her family, doodling, and watching Disney movies. Welcome, Anna.
Now I Pray by Kathy Engel. Ashen face, wool hat bobbing. The young boy's eyes dart to me, then up at the man pulling a rolling suitcase, whose hand he holds. then back at me. His legs move as if without gravity. The man asks, "Do you know a church on the street that serves free food?" I want to say, I know. That the names of churches on an avenue called America's roll out of me. I want to tell you it is temporary. Their condition, suitcase, darting eyes seeking free food at 9 p.m. in a big city on a school night. I want to tell you I don't, for a moment, wonder if that is really the boy's father or uncle or legitimate caretaker. Something in the hand-holding, in eyes. Having watched too many episodes of Law and Order. I want to tell you I take them to a restaurant and pay for a warm meal, or empty my wallet not worrying how offensive that might be. Because in the end, hunger is hunger. I want to tell you I call someone who loves them, that there is someone, and say, your guys are lost. Can you come? I want to tell you I sit down on the sidewalk at the corner of Waverly and pray that all passing by anonymous shoes marking the pavement join in a chorus of prayer humming like cicadas in the Delta. I want to tell you, the boy and the man eat food encircled by the warmth of bodies. I want to turn the cold night into a feast. I will tell you, I am praying.
Thank you, Anna. So for everyone in the audience, the students tonight are being judged on a few different things, more than 5. So they'll be judged on the quality of their performance, which specifically these elements: physical presence, voice and articulation, dramatic appropriateness, evidence of understanding, and overall performance, as well as the accuracy of the recitation. So this is why we have here 4 performance judges who are judging the actual performance, Rhea who's doing the the accuracy, and then Rachel putting it all together. So just a little info. So on deck we have Olivia Johnson. Up next, Alina Vang. And right now we have Grace Elferts from Washburn High School in Minneapolis. Grace was one of last year's conference champions and a top finalist in the state competitions for Poetry Out Loud. She's an actress and can be seen in Washburn theater productions, and this week is appearing in a musical Pippin on the Washburn stage. So you got a busy week. Grace is writing a book in her free time. Let's welcome Grace.
Thoughtless Cruelty by Charles Lamb. There, Robert, you have killed that fly, and should you 1,000 ages try, the life you've taken to supply, you could not do it. You surely must have been devoid of thought and sense to have destroyed a thing which no way you annoyed. You'll one day rue it. 'Twas but a fly, perhaps you'll say, that's born in April, dies in May, that does but just learn to display his wings 1 minute, and in the next is vanished quite. a bird devours it in his flight, or come a cold blast in the night, there's no breath in it. The bird but seeks his proper food, and Providence, whose power endued, that fly with life when it thinks good, may justly take it. But you have no excuses for it. A life by nature made so short, less reason is that you for sport should shorter make it. A fly, a little thing you rate. But Robert, do not estimate a creature's pain by small or great, the greatest being can have but fibers, nerves, and flesh, and these the smallest ones possess, although their frame and structure less. Escape our seeing.
Thank you, Grace. So yesterday I gave you a few podcast recommendations, and today I asked the judges and some of my colleagues for some more recommendations for you all, so I'll be interspersing those throughout. But right now I have a quote that one of my coworkers sent me from the poem Extraction by Allison Joseph that goes, "If there is a poem in you, get it out by any means necessary." And I just thought of that because Poetry Out Loud, you were citing other people's poetry, but we always try to fuse your own writing as well. And so yesterday we had the workshop with Guante, where you could go and learn about spoken word poetry and writing your own words on the page. And so I think that's an important part of writing is reading, and that's how these two really come together for me in my mind. So anyway, keep writing if you're writing. All right. So on deck, we have Paige Yanni. Up next, Olivia Johnson. And right now, we have Alina Vang from Johnson Senior High School in St. Paul. Alina is a senior at Johnson High School. She loves running, singing, and exploring. After high school, she plans to go to college, live on her own, and be strong. She believes life is an adventure, so we should live life fully. Let's welcome Alina.
Meeting Point by Louise McNeese. Time was away and somewhere else. There were 2 glasses and 2 chairs and 2 people with the one pulse. Somebody stopped the moving stairs. Time was away and somewhere else. And they were neither up nor down. The stream's music did not stop flowing through heather, limpid brown. Although they sat in a coffee shop, and they were neither up nor down. The bell was silent in the air, holding its inverted poise between the clang and clang, a flower, a brazen calyx of no noise. The bell was silent in the air. The camels crossed the mouths of sand that stretched around the cups and plates. The desert was their own. They planned to portion out the stars and dates. The camels crossed the mouths of sand. Time was away and somewhere else. The waiter did not come. The clock forgot them, and the radio watts came out like water from a rock. Time was away and somewhere else. Her fingers flicked away the ash that bloomed again in tropic trees, not caring if the markets crash when they had forests such as these. Her fingers flicked away the ash. God, or whatever means the good, be praised that time can stop like this. That what the heart has understood can verify in the body's peace. God, or whatever means the good. Time was away, and she was here. and life no longer what it was. The bell was silent in the air, and all the room one glow, because time was away, and she was here.
Thank you, Alina. So that reminds me, I think a lot about how silences and quietude can be used. We often think of spoken word poetry or poetry that's spoken out loud as the speaking part, the part that we exude off of the stage, which is absolutely part of it. But I'm also amazed at how silence can interact with performance as well. And there's a quote that one of my coworkers sent me from Margaret Wise Brown that says, "Quietness is an essential part of all awareness." So anyway, I think that as performers, you have to utilize both sound and silence and quietude to really command this stage. On deck, we have Abdurrahman Farah. Up next, we have Paige Yanni. And right now, we have Olivia Johnson from Harbor City International School in Duluth. Olivia is a junior. She loves writing, world travel, and is not lying if she tells you that she's a citizen of Canada. Let's welcome Olivia.
What I Learned from the Incredible Hulk by Amy Nazika Matatil. When it comes to clothes, make an allowance for the unexpected. Be sure the spare in the trunk of your station wagon with wood paneling isn't in need of repair. A simple jean jacket says, hey, if you aren't trying to smuggle rare Incan coins through this peaceful little town and kidnap the local orphan, I can be one heck of a mellow kind of guy. But no matter how angry a man gets, a smile and a soft stroke on his bicep can work wonders. I learned that male chests also have nipples, warm and established. Green doesn't always mean envy. It's the meadows full of clover and chicory the Hulk seeks for rest, a return to normal. And sometimes a woman gets to go with him, her tiny hands correcting his rumpled hair, the cuts in his hand. Green is the space between water and sun, cover for a quiet man, each rib shuttling drops of liquid light.
Thank you, Olivia. So the building that you're in, for those of you who weren't here yesterday, is Open Book, if you haven't been here before. And Open Book's a really unique building in that 3 founding organizations started it. So we have the Minnesota Center for Book Arts, which has amazing classes in bookbinding, printmaking, and paper making. They have a really great gift shop downstairs. We also have Milkweed Editions, which the publisher is upstairs on the 3rd floor, and then they have a really amazing bookstore, Milkweed Books, on the 1st floor, which if you are ever in need of a book recommendation, go there. Hans and all of the booksellers there are really amazing. And then we have the Loft Literary Center, where I work, which is here on the 2nd floor, and we are a center for writers and readers, and we support all of those people through classes, events, and grants and fellowships. So just a little about the building that you're in. All right, we're getting down to our last 3 for the first round. So on deck, we have Briar Weston. Up next, Abdurrahman Farah. And right now, we have Paige Yanni from Washburn High School in Minneapolis. Paige loves to travel and wants to see the world. She is a dancer, an actress, and likes reading fantasy books. She is very excited to participate in Poetry Out Loud. Let's welcome Paige.
The New Colossus by Emma Lazarus. Not like the brazen giant of Greek fame, with conquering limbs astride from land to land. Here, at our sea-washed sunset gates, shall stand a mighty woman with a torch, whose flame is the imprisoned lightning, and her name, Mother of Exiles. From her beacon hand glows worldwide welcome. Her mild eyes command the air-bridged harbor that twin cities frame. Keep, ancient lands, your storied pomp, cries she with silent lips. Give me your tired, your poor, your huddled masses yearning to breathe free. The wretched refuse of your teeming shore. Send these, the homeless, tempest-tossed to me. I lift my lamp beside the golden door.
Thank you, Paige. So students, we are having photos and video tonight. We have Browntown taking video in the back. We have Anna Min taking photos. And we're happy to share all of these with you. So if you haven't turned in your photo release forms yet, please do. That's all I have. Okay. So up next, we have Briar Weston. But right now, we have Abdurrahman Farah from Uba Medical Academy in Hopkins. Abdurrahman Farah enjoys football and helping with kids who want to pursue football. They are filled with excitement to have reached this far in the competition and expect to go far with poetry. Let's welcome Abdurrahman.
I Too by Langston Hughes. I too sing America. I am the darker brother. They send me to eat in the kitchen when company comes. But I laugh and eat well and grow strong. Tomorrow, I'll be at the table when company comes. Nobody will dare say to me, eat in the kitchen then. Besides, they'll see how beautiful I am and be ashamed. I too am America.
All right. We're getting so close. So after this, after Briar goes, we're going to pause for about a 5-minute break, and then we'll come back for round 2. So, all right, without further ado, Briar Weston is from Great River School in St. Paul. Briar is a 9th grader, and aside from poetry, he enjoys reciting the digits of pi and is excited to be performing in Poetry Out Loud competition. Welcome, Briar.
Flying Lesson by Dolores Hayden. Focus on the shapes. Cirrus, a curl. Stratus, a layer. Cumulus, a heap. Humulus, a small cloud. Cumulus humulus, a fine day to fly. Incus, the anvil. Stay grounded. Nimbus, rain. Be careful. Don't take off near nimbostratus, a shapeless layer of rain, hail, ice, or snow. Ice weighs on the blades of your propeller, weighs on the entering edge of your wings. Read a cloud. Decode it. A dense, chilly mass can shift, flood with light. Watch for clouds closing under you. The sky opens in a breath, shuts in a heartbeat.
Thank you, Briar. Wow, let's give it a round for that first round of poems. You all did amazing. So we're going to take a 5-minute break, and then we'll come back and get going with round 2. So at 5:55, you can come back.